a good team culture within sports is based off of having a common goal. I know for my team, our common goal is to win games. So every time we go out to practice, every time we're watching film, or even when we're doing academics and things outside of sports, everything's geared towards winning for us, and that really shows on the field when we play as well. I think it ultimately starts with our coach as the leader of the team, the person who comes up with plays and strategy. I think she really sets that culture and inspires us to act in a certain way. With our team culture being based on winning, we also believe that in order to win, everyone on the team has to do their job, whether that is a defender locking down a 1v1, a midfielder clearing the ball, or an attacker scoring. So I think that a way that we show our team culture during every game is when after we score, not only do the attackers celebrate together, but the defenders run up from the other side of the field as well as the middies, and we all have a big group hug in front of the net because it was a collective effort to get the goal in and everyone did their job, and that's what ultimately helps us win. For my team and for other women's teams here, we place being a cadet first and being a member of West Point overall as an organization first, and then being an athlete second.
I'd say good team culture is having a strong bond of trust and buy-in to team values, which ours are family, toughness, and tradition. And that, I think the captains and the seniors are responsible for setting the team culture, but everyone could be held accountable for enforcing the team culture. I think we've built team culture. We started right away back in May of last year when we found out we were captains. We kind of got together right away, figured out what direction we wanted to take the team from last year. And then as soon as we got back to school, we held meetings with each of the classes, laid out our expectations of what we want our culture to be. And from there, just each class nominated class captains to kind of hold each class accountable and enforcing that culture, and it's worked out pretty well. The main difference is we're closer throughout our classes. We don't really have like a class divide. I could easily just go talk to a plebe or a yuck, and it's kind of the same conversation. We're really tight. We have really good team cohesion.
So I define good team culture as everyone being on the same page and working towards the same goals. I think everyone is responsible for setting the culture, but mostly the captains and all of the seniors on the team. So our team, I think we build team culture by just the kind of the way we interact with each other. It starts during PIAD when we get all the freshmen, all the plebes out of Beast, and just the way we interact with them and start practicing. I think that kind of sets the tone. I wouldn't call it extremely bad, but not the greatest, yeah. And I would say our team in the past hasn't had the greatest culture, just with the way the different classes interacted with each other, but it's been much better. I think their team has a strong buy-in for soccer, which is great, and I think in previous years our team kind of lacked that, but definitely overall, for school and being good cadets or whatever, our team has a stronger buy-in to West Point as a whole than the men's team does.
Good team culture is a culture that is prevalent whenever the leaders of the team aren't around. So I would say that setting the team culture is driven by the coaching staff and then also enforced by the team captains. My team specifically, we build culture by having daily reminders, like signs up on the wall of what our culture entails. For example, every day we come into the locker room, we touch the sign of excellence, and then every time we leave it, we touch it. So it's just we're committing to it every time we go in and out. Buy-in, doing the little nitty-gritty details is showing the purpose behind it. So for example, on my team, we believe that having a clean locker translates to less distractions off the field, and more time we can focus on the field, and just the small details of having a clean locker. That translates into making the small detail of making an important pass in a game of the thousands of passes that are played in a game. So I would say showing the purpose behind doing small things and how they translate to the big picture. We do everything from the locker room. We go to practice from the locker room go to practice, then come back to the locker room. And we always kind of like meet in the locker room and go to stuff together, and we wait for each other. We always go in a group. And they will sometimes like just come straight from, their dorms, just like straight down to play, or, like you see a lot of like more stragglers, and that's probably just, not to say it's better or worse, but I would say we are more of like a team identity in doing every single thing together.
I'd say good team culture is people that are able to get along pretty well, even if they have differences, they still manage to respect each other. And I think having a culture that is able to acknowledge the rules and follow those rules and holds everybody accountable to them, but at the same time still has a very close bond as a whole. And we do a lot of team bonding, going out to dinner, hanging out in our team room and watching movies. We've gone bowling before, we've gone to movies outside the movie theater before. We just like to hang out with each other a lot. A lot of the times it's not even planned, it's just going out together and just having fun and just experiencing that time together, which we think is awesome. And then sometimes we have recruits, which means we'll have mandatory time together, and it just gives us an opportunity to spend more time together. We actually emphasize a lot on our team that anybody can call anybody out. A plebe can call out an upperclassman, the best player can be called out by someone who doesn't play. It's just holding everybody to the same standard. I've been a part of bad team culture before. A lot of it has been like cliques, people not getting along, people talking bad behind each other's backs. So with the men's team, I don't know if there's a lot too different with their culture. I don't know if they emphasize team bonding as much as we do, as hang out as a whole team.
I think good team culture is one that's part of the organization. So a culture that encourages like moral values, and I think a culture where everybody checks on one another and makes sure that people are doing the right thing, whether it's up or down, left or right. I think the coaches usually set the standard, and then it goes down to the captains, but I think everybody is responsible for holding the team culture, but the captains and the coaches just are supposed to check in. The big thing we've done is we made sure that everyone just has open communication. So I know there's like from plebes to firsties, but when we're in the locker room, it's a big thing that like anybody can talk to anyone, and anyone can make sure that someone's doing the right thing. And I think we just have like team meetings that set the example, and we make sure that we hit that standard, and we'll check up like every once in a while to see if people are like maintaining it.
While we did not find any significance in women's teams being more bond-focused and men's teams being more performance-focused, we did find some trends which are backed by a study in The Sports Psychologist by Mark Eyes. The study interviewed coaches with experiences coaching both males and females and found that female sports teams have a higher need to bond and form group cohesion to be successful, whereas male sports teams do not have as high of a need for cohesion, but it may develop as an outcome of positive performance. For teams at West Point, the women's teams who are closer friends off the playing field are typically more successful. However, there is no significant need for the men's teams to bond outside of their sport to be successful, as teams with stronger and weaker cohesion are both successful and unsuccessful in terms of season record.